we're getting into the summer season. It's starting to get warm, and some people are starting to get those snifflies, the allergies, the whatever you might have lately. And to talk to us about it today, we have Dr. Darius Krystowski, an allergist based right here in Watertown. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you today, and welcome to WPBS.
Thank you for having me, Luke.
And I want to get the ball rolling right away and ask you some quick questions, starting with, what are some common summer allergies we see going into the hot summer months?
Yeah, so we are already in tree pollen season. Tree pollen season started already a few weeks ago, and pollen counts are creeping up over the past week. Since we've got a good weather this past weekend, we see significant increase in symptoms. Patients are complaining, patients are calling our practice, patients are requesting refills, patients are requesting medication adjustment. So tree pollen season, that's the season that we are experiencing now. And pretty soon in May, we'll have the grass pollen season starting also.
And so what are the common symptoms when these seasons start to roll around? What are the common symptoms that people can expect when they start feeling these allergies?
Congestion, of course, lots of rhinorrhea, congestion, runny nose, itching, sneezing, classic histamine-driven reactions that patients develop. So yeah, patients are definitely complaining. Patients are definitely experiencing significant exacerbations of symptoms. Patient request help, and that's what we are trying to provide.
What are some preventative measures somebody can take when they're looking to treat their summer allergies, like some of the symptoms that you just mentioned?
The first thing I think what is important is to diagnose allergies properly, because not all patients that have rhinitis, because when we talk about allergies, we call allergic rhinitis allergic, but not all rhinitis problems, not all rhinitis symptoms that patients develop automatically allergic. So it's important to diagnose the patients properly. So that's where my role comes, that patients come to my office and we try to assess the patient's problem, and we try to find out if the symptoms that the patient is experiencing are truly allergic or not. So that's where the proper history comes, to assess the patients. We ask patients questions related to severity of symptoms, quality of symptoms, reproducibility with exposure to specific triggers and allergens. And with the seasonal allergies, of course, we expect to see seasonal pattern, not only this year, but the years before. So proper assessment of the patient is very important. That starts with the history. We examine the patients, and we have tools in our office that are helpful to assess the patient's allergies. So we test, we possibly talk a little bit about the testing, how we assess patients, what tools we have, and based on that workup, we come up with conclusion how to help patients. So we have clearly medications that can be very helpful. There are different groups of medications that we use. Antihistamines can help with itching, sneezing, the classic allergy symptoms that patients experience. Nasal sprays are very helpful for congestion and drip and drainage and sinus pressure and headaches that patients develop with seasonal allergy symptoms. We have eye drops available for severe ocular symptoms. So a large number of patients with pollen allergy will experience significant ocular symptoms also, and the eye drops are necessary to help with ocular symptoms. So that's where we come. That's the medication that can help. That can significantly improve symptom control for large number of patients. And if that is not helping, we also have immunotherapy that is very effective for patients with allergies and patients that don't respond well to the medications, patients that don't want to stay on medications forever. Those are the patients that really can benefit from allergy injections, and that's something that is found to be very effective.
You also mentioned when we spoke to set this interview up, you mentioned that these allergies may happen during the summer, but they could also have longer lasting effects. Can you tell me a little bit about those lingering effects that happen post having these allergies?
I think, the comorbidity, right? So allergies, can definitely, are not only responsible for the classic allergy symptoms that patients present with. So So, we always, when we think about allergies, it's this acute onset of symptoms. Patients are sneezing, itching, congested, just miserable at the time when the pollen is high. But there are some additional things to consider here, and that's effect of allergies on comorbidities. Lots of patients with allergies have asthma, and allergies can definitely contribute and exacerbate asthma control. In fact, we have patients with asthma that actually asthma exacerbates during the pollen season, the seasonal asthma patients. Eczema can get worse with high pollen. We've got patients with atopic dermatitis, with eczema, with flare-ups at the specific seasons, at the specific time of the year. And in children, infections, ear infections, sinus infections, we see lots of children with chronic ill fluid during the peak pollen season when the allergy symptoms exacerbate. So it's not only about the nose. Nose is a part, nasal symptoms are only a part of the problem, or the mucous membranes and all the whole body well-being of the patient is very important, and allergies can contribute to so many different additional conditions and can affect the patient's life in many more ways than just the nasal symptoms. There is a syndrome, called oral allergy syndrome. That's the type of the food allergy that patients with severe pollen allergy develop. So sometimes we see patients with the chief complaint of food allergy. Patients come to our office saying, "Oh, doctor, I'm allergic to apples or some other fruits, and I don't know what's going on. Why am I developing this food allergy here?" And the reason for that type of the fruit allergy is the severe pollen allergy. There is a similar allergen in the fruit and in the pollen particle, and the cross-reactivity between the pollen and the fruit triggers allergic reactions in the patients with severe pollen allergy. So 20 to 30% of the patients with severe pollen allergy will develop reactions to fruits and vegetables. So for example, like now we have the tree pollen season, that is starting, and within the next few weeks we will see significant increase in symptom scores. Patients start complaining more. The weather is going to dry up. So we will start seeing patients with allergies coming to our office, and a large number of the patients with pollen allergy will tell me, "Oh, I cannot eat fresh apples. I cannot eat peaches, or I have problems with kiwis." And the reason for that is the cross-reactivity between birch, it's a tree pollen, and the allergen in that fruit. So it's a form of food allergy that patients with pollen allergy develop. And we see quite a number of patients. It's 20 to 30% of the patients with pollen allergy that develop this type of the reactions to fruits and vegetables. So tree pollen cross-reacts with apples, cherries, peaches. Ragweed allergic patients that develop symptoms in the fall, like August, September, usually have problems with melons and bananas. Grass pollen, grass season is going to start in May, mid-May, end of May. Patients with grasses will have problems with oranges and tomatoes, for example. So it's kind of interesting because some patients come to us complaining of the fruit allergy problem, and they want to find out why. Some patients come to us with mostly rhinitis problems and are mostly concerned about the allergy symptoms, but we are finding out that those patients also have problems with fruits and vegetables. Allergies can affect you on different levels, and it's always a challenge to research, to properly diagnose problems in patients, and ultimately our goal is to help the patients long term.
Now, this past winter was incredibly warm. Like, it was February and I was wearing shorts. But I wonder, does that have any effect when it comes to seasonal allergies? Does that exacerbate, does that accelerate any allergies that are common for people going into the summer?
Climate change, is responsible for shorter and warmer winters. And, so this frost-free time is definitely significantly longer now than it used to be 30, 40, 50 years ago. I think I saw some data that shows this frost-free time increased by 11 days since 1970s. So that translates to much longer pollen season. Pollen seasons start usually much earlier than they used to start before, last longer. And also plants produce significantly more pollen as a result of this warming in the weather. So yes, our patients with pollen allergy are experiencing more symptoms. Symptoms stay longer. Patients are more miserable as a result. And you know, this warmer weather this past winter is translating to increase in this recent debacle that we are dealing in the office. We are getting significantly more referrals over the past few weeks as a result of the patients developing symptoms.
Now, going into the summer, as we leave May into June, what is some advice you have for somebody to be conscious of summer allergies and to take care of themselves going into the season?
You know, I think, you know, patients should be conscious about, you know, the allergy problem. You know, like, you know your body best, and you know, and allergies are usually reproducible. So if you know that, you know, every spring, every summer you develop symptoms, I think you want to prepare for it. So it's very important, you know, to adjust the lifestyle according to your allergies. You know, I think, you know, if you know that every spring or every summer you develop symptoms, you know, you want to adjust your activity to it. You want to be conscious about hand washing. You want to be conscious about not sleeping with the open window and the pollen counts are high. I think, you know, we have access to tools that give you an idea how high the pollen is in the air during specific time of the year. So all of those things can give you some idea, you know, if you know how you want to prepare to it. And there is an access to medications, so clearly starting medications on time is very, very rational, very reasonable. You don't want to start your nasal sprays too late. You know, we know that the patients with severe allergies do better if they start medications before onset of season. When you're already congested and stuffy and drippy, nasal sprays may not work so well, so you really want to start those nasal sprays early enough to control the symptoms, not to allow the symptoms to get out of control. Antihistamines, you should have access to antihistamines, use them consistently, daily. That can help you with the ocular symptoms, nasal symptoms. Eye drops may be helpful. So you want to prepare yourself. I think you want to have access to the medications. You want to start medications early enough. You have to be conscious about implementing proper avoidance measures. And if that is not helping, you know, like, you know, look for medical help. You know, assessing allergies better, being tested for allergies can give you the answer what you're allergic to, you know, can give you some better understanding of the allergy problem. You can direct avoidance measures a little bit better. You can have a better understanding what is the trigger of the symptoms that you currently have. So you know, like, it's just important to, you know, not to forget about it, not to wake up too late, because when the symptoms are already bad and severe, it may be difficult for you to get those symptoms back under control.
Well, we appreciate your time, doctor. Thank you for coming to the studio to talk to us about allergies. And we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.